There was once a man named Daniel who lived an ordinary life in a small, gray town. He worked a job that paid the bills but drained his spirit. Every day felt like a repeat of the last. Wake up, commute, sit at a desk, go home, sleep, repeat. And while the world saw stability, deep inside, Daniel felt hollow. He remembered a time when he dreamt of being an artist, not just a painter but someone who brought color to the world. But life, as it does, convinced him that dreams don't pay bills, and slowly he put down the brush. Yet the ember never fully died. It glowed faintly within him, like a whisper calling him back to life. One rainy evening, Daniel took shelter in a quiet cafe. He met an old man sketching people in a notebook. They spoke casually, until the man asked, "What sets your soul on fire?" The question stopped Daniel cold. He stumbled for an answer, not because he didn't know, but because he hadn't let himself say it in years. "I used to paint," he finally confessed. The old man smiled. "Then paint. Paint until your hands forget the doubts. That's the secret to a life you love." The words lingered like thunder. Something awakened in Daniel. That night he dug out his dusty paints from the attic. Daniel's first brushstroke in years was shaky, unsure, but exhilarating. With every color laid down, a bit of his soul returned. He painted late into the night, not for an audience, not for money, but because it lit something inside. It wasn't about being good, it was about being alive. The next morning, he woke with red eyes and a smile he hadn't worn in years. That day at work, he walked lighter, breathed deeper. Nothing had changed, but everything felt different. When Daniel started sharing his art online, fear returned. "You're wasting time," colleagues said. "You're too old to start again," friends warned. Even his family wondered. If it was a midlife crisis, the world tried to put his fire back in a box. But Daniel had tasted what it felt like to come alive, and he wasn't going back. For every doubt, he painted harder. For every voice saying no, his soul shouted louder. Yes. Weeks turned into months. Daniel painted every night. His small online following grew. People messaged him saying his art made them feel something. One message read, "Your painting stopped me from giving up last night." That broke him in the best way. Daniel realized something. Doing what you love daily doesn't just heal you, it heals others. Every canvas was a doorway, not just into his joy, but into someone else's hope. One day Daniel stood at a crossroads. His company offered him a promotion. More money, more responsibility, more hours, but he'd have to give up his evenings. The very time he painted, he sat in silence, staring at his brush and his bank statement. The world said take the job. His soul said take the leap. He turned down the promotion. Instead, he took a chance, launched an art class in town. Only 3 people showed up, but Daniel taught them like it was a room of thousands. Because it set his soul on fire, Daniel's classes expanded. His little studio became a community. People came not just to paint, but to feel alive. A teenager who felt invisible at school. A widowed man who hadn't smiled in months. A single mom searching for peace. They didn't just learn art, they rediscovered themselves. Daniel realized, we don't need to change the world in one leap. We just need to light a fire in ourselves, and others will follow the warmth. One morning, Daniel walked to his studio at dawn. The sun broke through the clouds, painting the sky in oranges and pinks. Just like his first comeback painting. Tears welled up. He whispered, "This is the life I love, and I chose it." One brushstroke at a time. It wasn't always easy. There were still bills, still doubts. But each day he chose what lit his soul. And that made all the difference. You may not be a painter. Maybe your fire is writing, building, teaching, gardening, helping, or singing in the dark. It doesn't matter what it is. What matters is that you do it. Not someday, but daily. The life you love isn't built overnight. It's built one small act of passion at a time, one spark, one flame, one fire that lights you up from the inside out. You don't need permission. You don't need a sign. You need a choice, your choice. And so, to you listening now, look inside. What have you buried under fear, busyness, or logic? What sets your soul on fire? That's your secret. That's your way forward. No one can give it to you. No one can take it from you. Chase it daily, because the most beautiful life is not the one that looks perfect. It's the one that feels like fire in your chest every morning. The one you choose again and again, until the end.